Hey guys, how's it going? Here's Teacher D, and here we are again to study something else on our vacation homework. Today we'll be studying phrasal verbs. Do you remember what a phrasal verb is? Well, I hope you do, but if you don't, no problem, we'll be studying this together. So phrasal verbs are really important in English because they are common in conversations, in spoken English. To summarize, to sum up, a phrasal verb is when you have a verb and a preposition or an adverb together. When these words are together, they form something different. They form a new meaning, right? So as I was telling you before, phrasal verbs are very common in spoken English, and that's what makes them so useful, right? When you're talking to a native, when you travel abroad, it is important to remember phrasal verbs are usually used in informal conversations, right? You are not going to use the phrasal verbs when, I don't know, you're talking to your boss, for example. But when you are chatting with friends, relatives, phrasal verbs can be very useful and important to be memorized. Let's study a little then. Let's try to understand what phrasal verbs are. For example, we have the verb call, right? Call, like on the cell phone, somebody's calling me. Or, oh, teacher Mel is calling me outside. When we add off to the verb call, it becomes something different. Call off means to cancel something, right? So, for example, guys, I'm sorry, but we have to call off our first class in January because Mel and I will be traveling to Italy. Oh, what a dream. So, call off means to cancel something. Completely different from the verb call, right? Now, run. I defined run as walk in a fast way, right? To run. Run out means when something is finishing. So, you might say, like when you wake up late, dude, I'm running out of time. I have to run. Or when you open the refrigerator and there is no milk, you say, oh, we are running out of milk. So again, run out means something completely different from the verb run. This is a phrasal verb. They are always actions, right? Informal, used in informal contexts, and there is always a verb. It's a phrasal verb, right? All right, so there are two types of phrasal verbs. We have separable phrasal verbs and non-separable phrasal verbs. By the name, we can understand, right, the difference between these phrasal verbs. Separable phrasal verbs will be split by a personal pronoun. Pay attention to this. For example, could you pick me up later? Pick up, so when you need a ride, you go to work with a colleague and you need a ride, so you call your colleague from work and you say, could you pick me up later, please? So pick up, phrasal verb, is separated by the pronoun me. I should clean this mess up. Sometimes phrasal verbs won't change the meaning so much. Like clean, right? To clean something. Clean up means to clean everything. It's very similar, but since phrasal verbs are informal, as I was telling you guys before, clean up tends to be more used, tends to be more common in conversations. So I should clean this mess up. Mess is a personal pronoun, right? We separate clean up with this word. I should clean this mess up. And then non-separable phrasal verbs can't be split, so there's no way you will separate these phrasal verbs. Could you take care of my goldfish? So take care, right? When I have a little goldfish, I feed it, I change its water, I take care of the goldfish. Could you take care of my goldfish? So take care, we cannot separate. Or, dude, we are running out of beer. So run out, as we were talking about before, run out is a non-separable phrasal verb. So it will always be together, the verb with the preposition or the adverb, right? So, okay, basically this is it. It's nothing really complicated. Phrasal verbs aren't easy to be understood. I mean, they aren't difficult to be understood. What gets a little confusing sometimes is to remember to use these phrasal verbs when talking, since we don't have phrasal verbs in Portuguese. This is an English thing. It only exists in English. So remember what I told you today, guys, for you to do the homework. So for the exercise, the homework you're gonna do, there will be some sentences and phrasal verbs. You have to conjugate them. First, you have to choose the phrasal verb that fits in each context, in each sentence, and maybe you might need to conjugate them depending on the tense, if it's in the past, the present, or future. Take a look at the sentences, okay? Try to remember what I told you. If you have doubts, you can ask me or search on the internet, like Cambridge Dictionary. You always have these phrasal verbs, the meanings, the definitions, right? So I'm sure you'll figure it out. I'm sure you'll be able to do it. Well, that's all. Thank you so much for watching the video, for doing the homework. It's really important. There is no break when we are learning. It's always interesting to be acquiring new knowledge, and I'm glad you guys came here to watch this video. Thank you again. Later.